This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
I would ask people, well, what are your financial goals? And the vast majority of people would always say $10,000 per month. And I wanted to strangle them because when you focus on making $10,000 per month, that's the most you're ever going to make.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle. Welcome back to another edition of the List Building Lifestyle with your host, Igor Kheifets. Tellman Knudson is a living legend and the founder of listbuilding.com. Known as the Stanley of email, Tellman has completely recreated email marketing from bottom up with an unusual tactics that skyrocket opens, clicks, and sales for anyone creative or brave enough to use them. I invited Tellman to step out of the shadows to do what he does best, and that's fixing people's heads and hearts when it comes to making money. Tellman's wealth method, an at-home self-hypnosis course, allowed thousands of people to self-hack their money mindset and shoot their financial thermostat through the roof. Tellman's an expert at rewiring your brain for smashing through your current financial glass ceiling, and I'm excited about what he's going to share with us today. Tellman, pleasure hosting you on the show, brother.
I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be awesome.
So, tell us, why do you believe so many people who really say they want to make money from home, they say they want to become millionaires? I mean, for many people that I know, the goal is to make at least $10,000 per month. How come most of them struggle with that goal so much?
Dude, really good question, right? So one of my most recent hypnosis sessions that I released, strangely enough, and I didn't even tell you this, I don't think, is called the $10,000 per month session. And it sells like hotcakes, right? So why am I bringing this up? There's this interesting thing. There's this interesting dream that we all get sucked into. And $10,000 per month, I noticed, and I've been doing this whole internet marketing thing since 2004, and I've been hypnotizing people since 2000 and helping them get over their problems and deal with their challenges. And it took me that long to realize the 10,000 per month pattern, right? And it was very, very, very frustrating because I was working with clients and trying to help people in order to break through their glass ceiling, break through their financial barriers, both on the marketing and the mindset side. And over and over again, in application forms, I would ask people, well, what are your financial goals? And the vast majority of people would always say $10,000 per month. And I wanted to strangle them because when you focus on making $10,000 per month, that's the most you're ever going to make. It's $10,000 per month. The goal that you set, in my opinion, the goal that you set for making money is the stars, right? They say shoot for the stars and hit the moon. Well, what if you only shoot for the moon? Well, if you shoot for the moon, you jump up in the air and then you fall flat on your face on the earth again. Okay. And so one of the reasons that people stay stuck is because they set a realistic goal, number one, that is achievable. It's not exciting. It doesn't make your heart pump. It doesn't give you any true fear or anxiety when you think about it, meaning it's not emotionally loaded in any way. It's mediocre. It's so-so. It's blah, blah. It doesn't matter. So when you set a $10,000 per month goal, first of all, you have to go after that goal every single month, month after month after month after month after month. And if you don't hit it, it gets pretty boring. It gets pretty depressing because you begin to believe that you can't hit $10,000 per month. So one of the reasons people have a hard time is because they set goals that are too low and they're too practical. Number two is when you set a recurring goal like $10,000 per month, if you don't hit it, your enthusiasm wanes. And then if you do hit it, you get bored. So it's a terrible setup to set yourself up to make $10,000 per month. You will almost always fail. With that said, that doesn't mean that you don't set stepping stones toward your real goal. And your real goal may or may not be exclusively a money goal, but you might need a certain amount of money in order to attain or in order to achieve your real goal, whatever that might be. So it's not really about $10,000 per month. It's really about setting goals that are too low, setting big goals that are actually just a stepping stone to get where you want to go. When you start getting a little bit more clear on this, when you start setting greater goals and bigger goals that are well outside of your current ability to achieve, what happens is you're forced to go out there and rally resources, rally people, and usually people, but it could be other types of resources as well, in order to make your goal a reality, because your goal, what you're working toward, is way more exciting than what they're working toward. And when someone encounters a goal that's similar to theirs, but is way more exciting and clearly involves more than one person in order to accomplish it, well, that's when they more or less let go of their little goal and latch onto your big goal. And that's called a team member. That's called someone that's buying into your vision. That's a perfect employee. That's a great contractor. That's a phenomenal business partner. That's a great strategic partner. Potentially, that's a wonderful joint venture partner. But if you're just going for $10,000 a month like all the other chumps out there, I mean, you're never going to break free. You're going to stay stuck forever. And you're never going to inspire anyone, including yourself and your family.
Wow. Man, as you say this, I'm sort of ashamed, because for me, it all started out with the modest goal of making $100 per day. And I remember even going to bed and having this special affirmations notebook where I would write down, I am making $100 per day on the internet quickly and easily. That would be my ultimate goal at the time. I remember even having a conversation with my wife, and I was like, if I could just make $100 per day, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. And I couldn't even comprehend making 10K per month at the time.
Right. So that's the interesting thing, right? And I'm not to say that you can't use small goals. You need stepping stone goals. And if the goal that you're setting is truly motivating, if it gives you an emotional charge, then whatever the number is up to you. It's not about 10,000 or 100. That's irrelevant. I mean, as you know, right, all around the world, those numbers mean different things. 10,000 or 100, they mean very different things in very different parts of the world.
For a guy who grew up in Ukraine, $100 per day, that's like drug lord money. That's
okay. That's perspective, right? And that's very important. So the point is, you want a goal that really makes you excited, that makes you excited enough to get up a couple hours early in the morning and either work on your body to work out and get your energy up and get in great shape, or work on your dream before you go to your day job or whatever else, or your other business, or whatever else you're spending your 8 or 10 hours to pay the bills on. And then in the evening, when you come home, you want to be fired up and ready to go to implement all the ideas you were thinking about all day, just so you can sleep for 2 or 3 hours, get up the next morning and do it again to get your business launched or to get your dream realized, right? That's the key. It needs to be exciting enough to make you move mountains in order to achieve it.
Nice. Okay, so that's a quick lesson into proper goal setting. Thank you so much for that.
Well, or at least Tellman goal setting. I don't know about
the Tellman method to setting your goals. So, Tellman, how come then so many people sabotage themselves? I mean, I know for a fact for the last several years, I've been self-sabotaging myself from hitting the next level of my business. I know for a fact I've held myself back for years from financial success. Why do we do it? Well, where does it come from?
Well, there are a few things. The first thing is it's called experience. Sorry. Sometimes big goals come easy, but it's very rare in my experience. The things that are worth achieving, you're usually going to get your ass kicked a few times before you nail it. I don't know about you, but that's been my experience in every area of my life where I've ever achieved anything, above average, where I've ever achieved anything above the norm. I got my ass handed to me dozens and dozens and dozens of times in order to develop the experience to know how to avoid the landmines, right? How to avoid the pitfalls, how to avoid the dangers. Without a shadow of a doubt, there are shortcuts, but there are some influences and there are some reasons that some of us seem to fail more than others. And the first is that people who feel that they're failing all the time or self-sabotaging all the time usually aren't trying hard enough. They're usually not trying enough times. They don't realize that the guy that succeeded they failed 10 times more than you've even tried, right? This very common kind of motivational colloquialism, right? Motivational quote is the successful guy has failed 10 times more than you've even attempted, right? And so when you adopt the mindset of, I have to keep going and going and going until I nail it, you forget about all the times that you failed. You don't even pay attention to them. They don't even cross your mind. You try, you fail, you get up, you try again. That's the deal. However, there are a few factors that can trip us up along the way. It can make it harder. The first one is friends and family, right? Friends and family know you from before. They know everything you've been up until this moment in time. And what they don't know is everything that you aspire and desire to be. Those are your personal secret thoughts that we all have. And even with our closest friends, even with our closest family members, even with our children and our spouses, we are not able to share all of the thoughts that we have when we think about what we want for the future. And so our friends and family in their conversation with you, with each other, will talk about the past. They will reference memories and they will do it for the rest of your life because that's how we think about things as humans. But unfortunately, the way they think about you in the past is probably not the multimillionaire or billionaire that you desire to be. And so if what you want to be is significantly different and perhaps even unbelievable based on who you are today or where you've come from in the past, they're not going to support that until they have evidence to believe it. So when you tell your friends and your family members and even your colleagues and your coworkers about all your crazy internet dreams, they have no context and they have no reason to believe you. As a result, they feel like you're fantasizing and they're not going to be able to support you. That's why you shouldn't talk to them about your hopes and dreams as an entrepreneur. The only people you should talk to about your hopes and dreams as an entrepreneur are people who've achieved as much and more than you are looking to achieve, who by nature will not only support you and believe in you because they've already done way more than you're trying to accomplish, but they know in their heart of hearts that it's possible because they've done it and they have many, many, many colleagues and business people that they've worked with that have done it too. So I encourage you not to hang out with losers, meaning people who haven't achieved the level of success that you want to achieve, and only hang out with winners, people who've achieved the level of success that you wish to achieve and far, far, far more. Those types of conversations and types of emotional and moral support, not to mention potential business connections and even potentially financial support, are much, much, much more valuable than conversations that do hold you back with people from your past. I'm not saying abandon all your friends. I'm not saying abandon your family. I'm just saying don't take them seriously when talking about business, right? Or what you're trying to achieve financially, unless they are a true role model and actually know what they're talking about around the topic that you're looking to achieve in. Does that make sense, Igor?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it explains why, first off, the first to fall by the wayside for me were my high school buddies.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate, right?
Yeah, I don't talk to any of them now. We've completely disconnected. I think there was a reunion sometime recently and I was not invited, right? Although we were really tight. So the moment I started talking to them about wanting to make money online, and I, at the time was promoting a software program for MLMers as an affiliate, and it was paying like $125 a sale.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. And, I wasn't making any money, but I was talking about it and they were looking at me. I mean, they were looking at me like I was fucking crazy.
Right.
So they were the first ones to fall by the wayside. Ever since, there's been quite a few people. And, eventually, the one thing that happened to me that taught me not to talk about my dreams and hopes, etc., was actually after I became successful, after I was making about $4,000 per month, which, in my hometown is like seriously good money. It's like weird money. It was my grandmother's funeral. And after the funeral, Ukrainians have this tradition to go back home and drink and eat and sort of celebrate.
Which, by the way, is way, way, way better than happens at most American funerals. I've got to tell you,
Well, I mean, yeah, it has its own, benefits. So we were all hanging out together, and me, my brother, and my cousin have this conversation. My cousin, he's like, "Oh, wow, I'm so excited." I'm like, "Why? What's up?" he's like, well, I've applied for this job and it's for this huge pharmaceutical factory that creates, it's like the biggest pharmaceutical manufacturer in Israel, and they export to China and Japan and this and that. And it's like super wealthy, and the work conditions are awesome. I'm like, yeah, like what are they paying? And they're paying this much, and they give you vacations and do this, and it's so hard to get in. And I see my brother, who's also a full-time employee. He's in the food business. It's like a chef, if you will. Works really hard, 14-hour days, like crazy. And he's like listening to my cousin, and I can see that he's so into it. Like you could see it sometimes, right? A mouth is, lips are slightly parted, eyes are sort of glassy, kind of like, it's like candy for him. And I'm looking at that and like, what? You're excited working for someone else for peanuts, and because they give you a week of vacation, every now and again, and you're willing to do all this stuff. But I didn't say that, but that's when I realized the difference in the mindset between
and there's nothing there. Even though it feels like there's something wrong with that, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So here's the interesting thing about opportunity and success. Just like the story you just told, we are all looking out at the world through our own little lens, our own little filter. Mm-hmm. And if you think about the fact that human eyes, we have a very limited visual spectrum of light that we can see, right?
Yep.
Human ears, we have a very limited spectrum of sound that we can hear. If we could hear all the cell phone waves passing through our heads right now, we'd be completely insane. Imagine if you could hear every conversation that everyone was having on every cell phone that's passing through the airwaves near you right now.
Man, that reminds me of Batman versus the Joker.
Right, exactly, right? It just, you'd be completely insane. So our eyes, our ears, all of our senses have a very limited spectrum that they can pick up on from the world around us. And that's how we shape reality. But it's a very, very, very small sliver of light in comparison to all of the input that's out there that we could soak up. And during the conversation that you were having in the car with your family members, you were looking through one lens and they were looking through a different lens. You saw something that wasn't very appealing, and they saw something that made their heart beat faster.
That is true. Absolutely.
Why do people limit themselves to $10,000 a month? Because they believe it's possible, or because of the lens that they're looking through. So we're all looking through a different lens. We're surrounded by opportunities that are so huge right now. But the problem is you don't have the lens to see them. You can't pick up the pattern because your eyes aren't built for that spectrum of light yet. You need to learn how to put on a different pair of specs and look out at the world in a totally new and different way if you want to be able to realize and see kind of the patterns that are out there in the universe to take advantage of opportunities that are bigger than you've ever thought of. And when this happens, Igor, this is when we have an aha moment, when we have a mental breakthrough, a mental shift, when we figure something big out and we're like, oh my gosh, I just had the best idea ever. Those moments are when you gain some new perspective, when you learn to look at the world through a different filter. And those are the types of moments we try to engineer with wealth hypnosis and the wealth method for entrepreneurs, so you can start thinking about things on a higher and higher level.
Tell us more about that. How do you guys do it? Like, what's the potential of this? And perhaps you got a case study you can refer to.
A case study, right? So I've been doing hypnosis since before the year 2000. I was technically certified through the National Guild of Hypnotists in 2000. But in the late 90s, I was in college and I was studying the mind and the brain. I was studying altered states of consciousness. In particular, I was interested in how to use the flow state in order to achieve higher and higher levels with my competitive cross-country distance running. And so basically, I wanted to be able to train at my peak level and race at my peak level more frequently and ideally on demand. And so I started studying hypnosis. So I wanted to be training every day at a higher level, and I wanted to be performing during race time at a higher level so that I could win more races, right? And so I was studying hypnosis and binaural beats and brainwave entrainment and NLP and and shamanism and all this stuff. And what happened was I started instantly having great performance as a runner. And I was in college. I was putting myself through college, and I always had a really tough time with my studies because I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder when I was younger. So it was very frustrating. I could never finish a book. I could only read a few pages of text at a time before my mind would start wandering. Very hard to hand in my homework on time or complete projects. Started 20 things, never finished anything, all that kind of stuff. And I realized that what if I just tweaked the self-hypnosis sessions that I was creating for running for focus, specifically as it related to my academics? And I did. And for the first time in my life, I started getting straight A's. So now I had used the mind in order to overcome something physical and increase my race and training speeds as a runner. And I also applied that to my brain in order to start reading faster, having a better memory, being motivated to do things as soon as I got an assignment instead of always waiting till the last minute, all these types of things. And the results in that case, the measuring stick for academics, of course, is your grades. The measuring stick for distance running is your race time, right? Well, the measuring stick as an entrepreneur is money. That's where people get screwed up. People focus on making more money, but they don't realize that the money is the measuring stick. Okay, the money is the measuring stick. The money isn't the goal, right? The money is the way that you measure the goal. It's not the goal itself. People get confused. So I want you to think about it as I was running. I wanted to run faster. I tweaked my mindset in order to run faster. And I, in fact, then ran faster on the clock, right? I got faster race times. So for you, faster race times are bigger paychecks. For you, faster race times are more Stripe deposits or PayPal or whatever it is that you're using to collect money. And so what I'd suggest that you do is, yes, have a numeric goal that you want to hit for, let's say, in the next 12 months or the next 6 months with a defined end date. I want to make this much money. I want to make $100,000 in the next 6 months, or I want to make $1 million in the next 6 months, whatever your goal is, right? And don't do the per month thing. You can build that in and have that be part of it or whatever. Continuity is great. I'm not saying don't do continuity or, don't make money on a recurring basis. I'm saying focus on making a specific amount of money in a specific amount of time. This is classic Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill stuff, guys. I did not come up with this. And then what I want you to do is turn around and focus in 100% on doing the activities and becoming more skilled at doing the activities that will allow you to hit your goal. In the case of distance running, the activities are track workouts, long 8, 10, 15-mile slow runs, and hill repeats. That's the sexiness of running, okay? You do those 3 types of workouts as a general rule. You do lots of push-ups and sit-ups, and you stretch a lot. And you try to eat good. Okay, those are the building blocks of becoming a faster runner. So what are the building blocks of making $100,000 in the next 6 months for you and your business? Okay, what are the building blocks? You need to decide. Are they getting better at writing email? Are they learning to master Facebook ads? Is it learning to buy or sell solo ads? Is it learning to write sales letters or sales videos? Is it becoming an absolute master at using your technological platform of choice, be it ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or WordPress or whatever, right? So you if you want to make the kind of money that you want to make, and you want to do it with your own business, the biggest thing that I see flailing, struggling entrepreneurs make is they focus. They say, "Well, I want to make the money," but they don't say, "I want to build the skill." And if you don't build any skills, you're dead in the water, and you'll constantly be chasing opportunities or quote unquote shortcuts for the rest of your life instead of just learning how to kick ass and becoming better and better and better and better and better and better and better at what you're great at and you really love doing, so you can constantly make more money for the rest of your life by doing what you do best.
Incredible. I mean, this a perfect way to sum this up. Don't try to make money. Instead, build a skill. That's just gold. Right?
And train every day, every single day. You got to train for hours, not like 10 minutes. You got to train for hours. You got to learn stuff for a few hours, and then you got to go and execute for a few hours. Like bare minimum, 3 hours, 4 hours a day in order to actually, like, if you want to learn French, right? If you want to learn a foreign language, you're going to go and you're going to take a class every day, and then you're going to have homework every night. And you're going to do that 5-6 days a week. And you're going to do it for a few years. And if you're not willing to trade that for $1 million business, then you're completely dead in the water before you even got started because you're just not willing to put in the work. So that's one of the other things is that most people in my experience are slackers and aren't willing to put in the work to achieve their dreams. So if you're not willing to put in the work, don't bother.
This is classic. This is classic. I mean, you didn't come up with this stuff, but this is, I mean, it hits so well for me with such a fresh look at things. You know, the long distance running is the perfect analogy. Running used to be something I used to be scared of, but, you know, and really, really good stuff. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. So, Tellman, how can we then use hypnosis to sort of better ourselves or to push ourselves to build this skill?
Yeah. So what was funny was, so as a local hypnotist here, I live in Vermont in the United States, right? And I was a local hypnotist here for a long time before I ever went online. And when I went online, I named my company Overcome Everything because I wanted to be an online hypnosis company, right? But what happened was I realized I needed to get good at marketing or I wasn't going to be able to sell any of my hypnosis CDs. I was like, crap, I actually do need to get good at marketing because I'd started and failed 7 businesses before this, by the way. And so I decided to get really good at email marketing. And this is really before podcasts were a thing. I mean, technically they existed, but nobody knew what they are. And I interviewed over 80 of the best email marketers at the time and promoted their stuff as an affiliate because I didn't have any of the skills that I needed to be a great email marketer. And what happened was I got really good at it really fast because I was interviewing these people every day and I was executing and implementing the advice that they gave me on the interviews, much like the one that we're doing right now, Igor. And what happened was I became very, very, very good at email marketing very fast and built up a huge internet marketing company where we trained people in email marketing and list building. We had over 100,000 paying clients and customers, multi-million-dollar company. And my students and my clients had the same problems that you're talking about here, Igor. They had these mental blocks that prevented them from achieving the level of success that they knew they could achieve, but they were somehow sabotaging themselves, preventing themselves, holding themselves back from achieving the level of success that they wanted. And I realized that I was a really good hypnotist. So I started creating hypnosis sessions specifically for internet entrepreneurs, right? And that was back in 2005. And more or less, I've been doing it ever since. And the Wealth Method is our most recent and high-level mindset training for entrepreneurs. But what I'd like to do for you is, I know that I gave you a few sessions to listen to from the Wealth Method. Yes. And if you're willing to just share for a moment what your experience was like with those, what I'd like to do is give everyone one of the sessions from the Wealth Method that I normally sell for $99. Each individual session is $99, but the whole program is $2,000. Right. And what I want to do is give you guys one of the money mindset hypnosis sessions for free just for listening to this interview if you guys are interested in checking it out. So what was the Wealth Method hypnosis sessions that you experienced and listened to? What was your experience like with that, Igor?
Well, I primarily focused on the one you gave me that was about hitting the big goal. It could be a monetary goal or not. I actually did not choose a monetary goal. I chose a different goal. I choose a goal that revolved around an existing relationship I've had, a relationship that caused me lots of heartache, lots of headaches, and really just something I needed to just cut off. So imagine it's like an arm that's been, like me being shot in an arm and my arm is just dying and I have to just cut it off. Otherwise, I'm going to die. So that was the experience. And for about a year, I couldn't get rid of this, right? This was a problem I kept on facing on a recurring basis.
No, is this a business relationship or a personal relationship?
A business relationship.
Okay.
And so I wrote down my goal, just like the exercise said, write down the goal in vivid detail. And then I started doing this self-hypnosis session. I think I did either 3 or 4 before I finally decided to tackle this problem. And remarkably, it went easy. So here's this, imagine me trying to climb to the top of Everest. And that's how difficult it seemed. But when it came down to execution, it was just very easy and flowing. And I knew what I was doing every step of the way. So, it's totally different feeling from what I'm used to, because whenever it's money time, if you will, I'm always nervous and I'm questioning myself. But here, it was just very confident. 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the steps, bam, 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 execute, done.
Boom. So in your case, you had a bad business relationship, and this was with someone that has given you money for the past year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so you had to cut off this income source intentionally.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is like quitting a job, for example, is that kind of a thing. And you listened to the hypnosis session a few times. What was the feeling like? What was the experience of actually, while you were listening to the session, what was that like for you?
Well, like I said, it was very different because I'm used to just positive talk, like Ryan Tracy, that sort of, like, it's all, keeping a positive mentality, looking at things from a different way. What you've done for me, you kind of walked me through a parallel, like in a parallel universe, you walked me through an experience which resembled what I was trying to achieve. And at first, it didn't even hit me. Like at first, I couldn't even, I didn't feel what was going on. But eventually, I could really feel within the core of my body, I could feel the emotion of lightness, of freedom that I wanted to achieve as a result of taking that necessary step in my life. So what this has done for me was allowed me to get a taste, a really vivid, real taste of what I wanted. And that pushed me towards comfortable, but yet straightforward and really enthusiastic, disciplined execution of the skills or actions necessary to achieve that goal.
And that was a problem you had for the last year.
Yeah, that was a problem I kept on trying to escape from. It was something I procrastinated about routinely, hoping that it wouldn't show up in my life. But
and I just gave you access to that session last week. So how many days did it take you to nail this thing?
I think we spoke about a week before recording this. And so it's been a week since it's been 6 days since I got it. I have not done anything yesterday or today. So it's been 4 sessions in total. 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
Long story short, in a week and listening to it 4 times, you got rid of a problem in your business that you've had for the last year, that you had negative and avoiding feelings around it. Because, hey, if you weren't avoiding it, you would have taken care of it right at the beginning, right?
Absolutely.
We all have problems that we avoid because we don't want to deal with them. We all do. And and whether the problem is you working up the guts in order to go and pitch someone because you're afraid of them saying no, or whatever it is, whenever you get that feeling of resistance where there's something that you should do, but you can't bring yourself to do it, hypnosis is an incredible way to just pop right through that.
Yeah. I mean, I can testify to that for sure.
Well, congratulations. That's really, really cool. So yeah, what I'd like to do is, if you guys like this whole wealth hypnosis concept, what I'd like to do is give you one free session from my flagship program, The Wealth Method. And I normally sell this session for $99. I'd like to give it to you as one of Igor's List Building Lifestyle podcast listeners. And should I just give out the link or what?
Oh yeah, I'll do it. Allow me the honors.
Sure.
Guys, just go ahead and visit overcomeeverything.com/Igor to claim your free hypnosis session that's worth $99, but which is one session out of a bunch of them which come together in a $2,000 product. This is the same session that I've done personally, and take me as a living, breathing testimonial to the effectiveness if you actually follow the instructions, right? So you'll have to write down your big, bad, scary goal on a piece of paper in a very precise detail, okay? And you actually have to lock yourself in a room or a basement or in your car for 30 minutes and, put your headphones on, close your eyes, and do, as Tellman tells you, a couple of days in, like one day after another without skipping any days, no matter how busy, frustrated, preoccupied you are with your life commitments or anything else. Like,
Igor, that's a really important point. Let me just tell you guys how this works. Okay. One of the amazing things, actually, are we going too long? Can we keep talking?
Oh, sure. Keep talking.
Okay. So one of the things here, guys, is that hypnosis works fast, which is one of the magical things about it. Right? People love hypnosis because you can get instant results. People can go in to quit smoking, and in many cases, after just one session, stop having urges to smoke. It's awesome. Okay. But there's a problem, and the problem is commitment. So if you're not willing to commit to practicing the behaviors, the things that you need to do every day to become the person you want to become. If you want to be a millionaire, then you have to act like a millionaire now. You have to think like a millionaire now if you want to become a millionaire in the future. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You can't act like and think like a garbage man if you want to be a multimillionaire. You can't do those things at the same time. Maybe you can own a fleet of garbage trucks, but you can't think about things like the garbage man thinks about things if you want to be a multimillionaire. You can't do it. So if you're not willing to spend at least 30 minutes a day, which, by the way, will be the most relaxing and enjoyable 30 minutes of your day, every day, practicing at becoming the person you want to become, then again, all bets are off. Good luck. If you're not willing to put in the time, you're not going to reap the rewards. Bottom line. The good news is 30 minutes of relaxation for the day is not a massive price to pay to make the kind of progress that you want to make. So definitely follow the directions. But with all of my hypnosis clients, I recommend that people really start utilizing some form of hypnosis for at least 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week, so you can really get the full benefits. And then once you hit your goals right now, then you set a whole new set of goals and you go after a whole new set of challenges and you just keep on up-leveling the various levels of your life that you want to improve.
Awesome. So you heard them, boys and girls. Go ahead and visit overcomeeverything.com/Igor to download your free hypnosis session with Tellman. And don't be a slacker. Thank you so much. Been a tremendous episode. Awesome stuff. I love talking about money mindset and telling people they should get off their asses and do something. So, it's been awesome. And until next time we talk, have a good one.
Great. Thanks, Igor.
Thank you for listening to The List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.